multi-channel support in general, and then I want to get more specific about how Zoho Desk kind of lets you handle these things. So why multi-channel? Multi-channel support, the concept is you should be where your customers are, right? So if I'm a customer, I should have as many options to reach out to you as possible. So I should be able to call you if necessary. I should be able to chat you, email you, tweet you, whatever. Because when I have a problem as a customer, I don't want to have to go and track down your phone number if that's the only way to get in contact with you. I should be able to have easy access to you. Because typically if a customer is trying to contact you for support, they're coming from a place of inherent negativity. They had a problem, and they're trying to find a solution. So you don't want to add another barrier between the problem and trying to find the solution or the place they'll get it, right? You want to give them a direct line to you. So you should be able to handle as many of these channels as possible, ideally. So you should be able to be in the middle of all those channels. Part of multi-channel support is just knowing your customers. So if I come to you, you should probably know who I am if I've already been giving you money, ideally. So know your customer. 73% of customers say valuing their time is the most important part of customer service. So when I call you or chat you or whatever, I shouldn't have to do it a bunch of different times just to get to my solution. I should be able to make this as quickly as possible, this whole support process. I don't want to have to talk to you if I have a problem. I'd like to have no problem, ideally, but if I do, let's make it fast. So this is a graph. This graph is, it doesn't really tell you anything new, but it's very official. So basically, net FCR rate, first contact resolution, right? So that's the concept in customer support of the first time I contact you, so within like, I think the industry standard is like 3 emails, or within the first phone call, I should have a resolution. So you're seeing here, as the resolution occurs more commonly in the first contact, the customer satisfaction goes up, right? Very basic concept, very simple, but it bears out in not only me up here, but also in fancy graphs that people smarter than me made. So ideally, the first contact shouldn't even have to happen. So if we're saying, okay, the best contact is the shortest contact, well, then even better than that is no contact. They should, when they have a problem, be able to solve something on their own. That's self-service. This is one of the biggest trends in support right now. It's growing. It's very popular. And we have the tools within Desk for you to build a self-service platform so that when a customer has an issue, ideally they can just work on that and they don't have to reach out to you and have you solve their problems. So they have the right tools as well to improve. So this means when you are looking at, your support process as a whole, you can say, okay, where do I need to work on this? Where are we losing customers? Where are people falling out of this cycle? And you can address all those things. Friction is the idea of when I'm transferred, every time I'm transferred under Comcast, that's a little bit of friction. Every time they have to put me on hold, a little bit of friction, right? Every single interaction that has to switch or change or have to move me around to handle things, that's a little bit of friction. That's not ideal. Ideally, you can get in there, solve things quickly, and you're done. So self-service, the reason it's so popular is because there's no friction. You have this problem, which is naturally friction, but then the solution is right at your fingertips, and you're done, you're going, you're moving on. Calling is a little bit of friction. Having a chat, a little bit of friction. So you want to minimize that. So they shouldn't have to chat or call multiple times because that's more and more friction. You're slowing down the process of them getting to their solution. So these are sort of the 3 roles. I'm going to go into Desk pretty soon here, the Desk product, and I'm going to inhabit these 3 roles. So I'm going to show you how a customer might interact with it, how an agent might, and how a manager might. And before we do that, just the basic support hierarchy, right? You have the customer at the bottom. When they have a problem, they usually have to go up and talk to an agent. Ideally, they don't have to escalate at all. They can just stay down here and handle their problems. But if they can't self-service at this level, they contact an agent. Ideally, it stops there, right? No more escalation. But if it gets worse and worse, you go to a manager. So if you call Comcast, you're probably going to go up here every single time because these can't seem, I'm not sure. I was going to say they're probably not humans you're talking to, but that's not true. They're humans. Be good to your support agents. Ideally, you're down here solving things at the lowest level, but if you have to escalate sometimes, that's okay as long as you minimize those escalations. So let me go into the product now. I am inhabiting a fake design agency that we've built called Out of Line Design. And the things they do are like web design, t-shirt design, merchandising. They do a bunch of different things around design. So I might reach out to them if I want something custom to put on a t-shirt, or if I want them to build me a website. So as a customer, I'm probably going to their website to buy a shirt or to contract them for some kind of design service. So it would only make sense that your customer, wherever they bought your thing, is usually where they're going to go for support. So even like a brick and mortar place, I don't go to Target for support on Best Buy products. I go to that place that I bought it from. So if I'm buying from a website, I'm probably going to go to this website to get help. So you should make it as easy as possible once they get there to use whatever channel they prefer. So your contact link should be pretty obvious, but if they're like me and they don't want to call you, they don't want to pick up a phone, we have this chat down here, and this is within Desk. This is specifically the Sales IQ integration with Desk. So you have live chat on the website. Darlene is here to help. Darlene's a robot right now. So what happens is if I put this in here, I bought a shirt, and it was too large, and I am not that way. So if I send this, right, start chat, Darlene is not online right now, so it'll just have me submit it through the chat, and that'll come up as a ticket. So that you'll see it in the Desk software once we get into it. I will say, my name is Travis, which is my name, and I am Travis _ email at email.com. I've now submitted that as a ticket. So they can now email me back, or if I'm on the website, they can just live chat me right away once they see this ticket come in. So that's one way I might want to do this, right? It makes sense that I would go to this website for help on this website's products. But in terms of self-service, which is, as I told you, much more popular, it's growing in popularity. People don't want to have to reach out to people if they don't have to. We have a customer portal. And this can be customized to look like your business, so we can have your logo, have your brand, have your business's colors. I mean, I've seen customer portals that don't look anything like what the out-of-box one, which is what this is. I mean, people have like embedded into their website, and it looks really crazy. But just for demonstration purposes, this is how it looks out of box. You can move a few of these things around and get rid of a few of these elements as you please. So maybe you're seeing that, and you'll see this in the report section once I show you that. Maybe you're seeing that the knowledge base is not that popular, which probably won't happen because people love knowledge bases. You can remove that, and you can focus the support, focus people's eyes on the one support process that you find most customers find to be helpful. So here I am at the customer portal. Customer portal being, you can make this specific exclusive access for customers, or you can just put it up as a link and anyone can go through it and look at your FAQ, check out your forums. In this company, we just have it open for people to see and search through and use the information. So from here, as a customer, I can search through the entire help center. So this will search forums, knowledge base, facts, whatever, or my previous tickets. If I'm signed in, all those things are stored here. So I can search to find something, or if I just want to get help right away, I can chat. Again, you see it down here. I can call, I can email, or I can just submit a ticket right now. Really short primer. A support ticket is a single instance of support. So if I say, please help me, everything's gone wrong, email, send, then they would respond to me and the ticket is now opened, right? And once my problem is solved, they say, okay, good, ticket closed. We can move on to another support problem. So I can submit a ticket, or I can look at the knowledge base. And the knowledge base will hold things like frequently asked questions. It can hold long-form articles. So when I get into Desk, I'll show you how it pulls some of these things naturally and puts them in a ticket as it reads through. Using machine learning, it'll read which are the most popular. Then it'll also read the contents of a ticket and recommend which knowledge base article might be good for you. Or the community, which is a forum. Everyone knows how forums work. They're very old, but they're very effective when done well. So as a customer, maybe I'm in here, right? I do all these things. I say, oh, I'd rather submit a ticket, or I'd ask the community in the forums. I have these options, and Desk builds all these things for you. So now, moving away from the customer role, how do they interface with Desk? I'm going to go in as the agent. So these are like the 8 main sections in Desk. So anywhere you're in Desk, it's going to be embedded in one of these or within just the settings. So really quickly, we have tickets, right? This is where agents spend their time. This is basic, right? This is ideally where your agents are mostly working in and handling things. The KB, which stands for knowledge base, this is where you add and edit articles within the knowledge base, articles, frequently asked questions, whatever. Customers, this is a list of all the customers that you've interacted with, so it's kind of like a Rolodex, all your contact info. Tasks, these can be specifically assigned to agents, so I can assign an agent a task that says, okay, figure out these 2 tickets by the end of the day. Reports, remember the tools to improve, these are the things that'll do that. And I'll get into those once I assume the role of the manager in a little bit. Community, this is your forum section. Social, so remember multi-channel. Some of you might go on Instagram or Twitter perhaps, and you'll see that it's very common for people to yell at good businesses like United Airlines on there. It's a very fun thing to do. So people go on the Twitter and they say, "You're the worst, I'll never fly you again," and they have some robot response to them and says, "We're sorry to hear this." This is where you would have your robots do that, or your people if they want to actually have a good support process, right? So you can, in this tab, it collects Facebook wall posts and tweets, and you can have it filter and say, if a tweet contains these words or these characters, so for United, you might choose certain words about being hit and thrown off of planes, then you say, hey, escalate that, make that a ticket, make sure someone gets in contact with that person to talk to them. And then this is the chat. So if you don't integrate Sales IQ into Desk, you still have a live chat function. It just doesn't have as much functionality. And there will be sessions about Sales IQ, so we can go into what that adds to Desk in those. So for now, we're going to stick to the tickets panel. So these are your tickets. If anyone's done customer support using a ticketing system like this is pretty straightforward, right? We all know what these are. We have the ticket title, who they're from, and what channel they're from. So you see here, it's email. See here, it's live chat. See here, it's email, chat, a web form. Web forms are things you can make and embed on your website. So you can just say, I don't want them to go to a ticket section. I just want them to give them a form, and anything they submit becomes a ticket, and you can filter out within Desk from there. This is one way to look at things. As a support agent, I might come in and I might say, well, I don't know really what to do here. I mean, it's useful, but it doesn't prioritize things. So to that end, we have different views here. And this is something that's pretty unique about Desk that I think is really useful, actually. You have different ways to view all these tickets. So if a support agent comes in and they just start knocking off the list, they're not going to be that efficient. And the people that submitted stuff at, like, if your support agent's on Pacific time, they submitted stuff at midnight, that's going to be the most recent thing. So maybe they get to that and forget about the ones they were doing earlier in the day. So to that end, we have these different views here. So countdown mode, for example. Now you're seeing all the tickets we saw before, but it's separating them into 3 separate columns. And this is like a Kanban view. If you're not familiar with that jargony term, it's basically, it just means you have information and you're prioritizing it. So now instead of just having a bunch of tickets on a screen that looks almost like email, which is how the typical list view was designed after, now we're prioritizing them and putting them into separate columns. So for example, this column says overdue. So these are all the tickets that have been marked overdue, which is determined by the date that you set them. So if you see a ticket and you say, I want this done by today, you can set that. I'll show you how to do that. These are due in 6 hours, so these are upcoming, 6 hours or more, and these just have no due date. So as an agent, I probably know I want to come in here and check out to make sure these ones are going to be handled first, because they are probably upset. They're overdue. There's a reason that they were set with a date in the first place. Let me go to this one. So now we're in the ticket window. Don't be alarmed. Right? This is just the column that we just saw, the overdue column. So we can, from here, browse between a bunch of different tickets. So just jump between all of the ones in the overdue column. Or we can just stay in this area and handle tickets themselves. So, for example, Sean Miller, right here. You see he submitted from a web form. If we go into that ticket, so you can see he's in your CRM. So this desk account is integrated with CRM, and it's pulling information from CRM and populating this column with that information. So you see that's his email address, his name. If he had more contact details, then it would show up right here. You can then assign this to different agents. So I could assign this to my support agents, Ivan, Darlene, David. You can set a due date. So the reason this is in the overdue column is because it's way past this due date, which I've set. keywords so that it's easy to search and find ones that are similar to this, priority, high, medium, low, and classification. So now this is the meat of the ticket, right? This is what was sent to me. Hello, I received an XL instead of a large. I'd like an exchange, please. So what Desk is doing, you see these 3 buttons up here, suggested articles. If I click on that, it's read this email, and it's suggesting a couple of articles in the customer portal, and it's saying, well, maybe these are going to help this guy. So it's reading what he has written here, and it knows that these are probably helpful. So I can click on one of these articles. Maybe he didn't see these in the customer portal. Maybe he doesn't know about the customer portal. I can click on it and say, okay, this does address it. I can either paste this copy straight into the ticket, or I can share the link to this article in the ticket. So I can very quickly just move through these things. A good support agent is someone that's able to close tickets, but not just go through and tap the close button over and over, but they're going in and they're actually addressing things and closing things smartly. So if your customer has good self-service tools, this ticket shouldn't even be here. But in case it is, this can automate and expedite the process of closing this. So I can just paste this straight into the ticket. I can send it to him, and then I can either close the ticket or wait for a response and see if it solves this problem. So this is one view, right? You have the countdown mode. There are a few other ones, like the handshake mode. This one's useful if you're a company that prioritizes customers ahead of just contacts or leads. We have those separated out. So, for example, you have new people in this column. These are people that are just randoms. They came to your website, clicking around. They love the internet. They're just here having a good time, submitting tickets. These are people that are in your CRM. So you have maybe done work with these people, or you almost had a deal with them. You've contacted them before. Maybe you met them at a trade show like this or a conference like this. They're going to show up here because they're in your CRM already. And then these are customers. So within your CRM, it's pulling all this data and it's saying, okay, these are people I've actually worked with and I've closed and won a deal with. So I can come in as a support agent and prioritize these customers with issues as opposed to these random people. And there are a couple other views. The priority mode, again, you saw high priority, low priority, mid priority tickets. This just separates them into columns. You kind of get that. And so that is what I'm doing as an agent, right? Not that complicated, but it's important to see that these different tickets can be prioritized in different ways instead of just a list that I have to parse and figure out as part of my job. I should make that as easy as possible to solve these problems. And keep in mind also, so you see this little Twitter icon. So this is a tweet that came in. So if I wanted to handle this ticket, I could go in here and I wouldn't have to open Twitter in my company Twitter account and tweet at them. I could just respond in here because I've integrated the Twitter account with my Desk account. And I could just respond straight right here, and it would tweet at them straight from my Twitter account, and it just does all that for you, so you don't have to worry about all that extra work. So now leaving this, I'm no longer the agent, right? Now I'm taking the role of the manager. My pay is increased. I can buy that nicer Camry, right? I'm doing well for myself. I maybe have one kid, so it's high pressure, but I'm out here, and I'm a manager, and I'm moving the blocks. So, as a manager, I'm probably not going to be in the ticket view that much. If anything, I want to see the overall process and appoint people to the right corners and the right places. So for that, the reports view over here is very good. So, right away you're seeing bars and colors. Let's see, we got 3 new tickets total, so not that many people coming in with problems. Pretty good. We're looking good so far. 5 closed tickets. So even the ones that came in, we took care of them. We're a great company. We're doing well. Well, if we look at the backlog, things get a little bit worse, right? So now you can see, if I hit this, very excellent animations, we're adding all the backlog tickets. So we're adding all the overdue tickets. So what we're actually seeing now is that, no, it's not that we're getting rid of all the tickets. It's just that people are no longer submitting tickets, right? It's all red. And if I take away the closed tickets, you can see very little has changed. So this is what I've done. This is what I've closed versus what is open. So I now get a more full view of what's going on here. People have just stopped submitting tickets because we stopped answering them. We stopped closing them. That's a problem. So as a manager, I can go in and start taking people's used Camrys and burning them. So traffic analysis, you can also see where your tickets are coming in from. So you remember I just submitted that ticket in chat. I submitted a couple other ones today, so you can see they're all from chat. But if I submitted some via Twitter or a web form, or if I submitted them via the knowledge base, it would show that split here. So you can see where people are coming in and interacting with your business more and say, okay, we're getting a lot of traffic from Twitter. Maybe you're a company kind of tuned to younger people or United, and you can see a lot of people really like us on Twitter. We have to be contacting these people, and you can assign people specifically Twitter duty. So this company would probably just say, okay, all bets, we need to push them on chat. No one's calling us. No one's doing these other things. Also, so that's the overview of reports. Then you have all these little reports here, and all of these are auto-generated by Desk. So I didn't make any of these. These are all made automatically. So you see them all here. This is just a more condensed view of what you're seeing in this white section here. So, for example, a popular report here, tickets by contact. So here you can see all the tickets broken down by the person that submitted them. So we see down here at the bottom, Vince Hendricks, he's submitted 2 tickets. So he's had a couple problems with us. We probably want to assign a specific agent to him. So if we went in, clicked on his name, now you can see all the information specifically related to him. So all the interactions, all the tickets that have happened with him. So you could say, okay, maybe give him a specific owner, right? David Ingus is the person I've assigned to own this account. So whenever Vince Hendricks, who seems to have a lot of problems, but is coming back for support, is coming back for help, whenever he reaches out to us, I now say, okay, instead of having a random person contact this person, always make it the same person. It builds the relationship with him, and it builds a little bit more trust in your support and in your company at large by doing that. So if we go back. So again, tickets by contact. And then you see this little breakdown up here. You can add these to any one of these reports. So if I hit edit chart, I can choose what kind I want. So in this case, I think the pie chart is most useful, but I could do vertical stacked bars, the funnel. And so you could separate it that way if you wanted to, right? I'm going to keep it on the chart, the pie chart. Very powerful type of chart. And so again, you can see here, broken down by person, and then you can drill down and click in and say, okay, this person has a larger piece of the pie. I can go in, look at all the tickets associated with them. Another good report here is customer happiness. So customer happiness for agents. Whenever a ticket is closed, you don't want some rogue agent that's just saying, deal with it, close ticket. I'm Comcast, close that ticket. Whatever, pay me, close ticket, right? You want to know when these tickets are being closed, should they be closed? Are things going well? So to that end, we have a rating tool in here. So you see this little happy guy, weird looking thing. And then this guy who's like passive. I don't know anyone that's ever hit this. Like, if you feel this way, you probably just aren't going to rate. But some people say, I'm very passive about everything. So they just hit that. Or you have people that are upset. And so you can see, okay, this person's closed a bunch, but how's their customer happiness rating? Is it good? So we can look at someone like Darlene, for example. Darlene Daniels. She's got 2 ratings. One is good, one is bad. Okay, so what's going on there? We can look at that. Click on the bad rating. And now if she had more bad ratings, they would all show up here. So all the time she's goofed and she hasn't helped customers and they've said, yo, this sucked. They can rate it terribly. So, for example, you can see Darlene doesn't have basic knowledge of the hottest web browser. So she assumed they were using Netscape Navigator. I can now go into that ticket and look at the entire interaction within that ticket. So something good came from it, I hope. Nothing good came from it. That first one's good, though. Watch that first right. Okay, so you can instantly see Darlene. She has some good, some bad, and so you can go in and address that problem with her. You have dashboards, and these are useful depending on your support process here. You probably have a fairly specific support process for your specific business. So some reports aren't going to be that useful. So, for example, when I show you the overview of the reports, like earlier, all these are going to be generally useful to your business. No business is going to look at these and say, well, I don't care where my tickets are coming from, or I'm not really worried about my ticket stats. These things matter to you, but you probably have a lot of other reports that are much more useful to you. If you go into the dashboards, again, we have some that are pre-made, and these are just added reports, so it's one page with a bunch of different reports on it, similar to the overview mode, but custom. And you can create new dashboards. So dashboard name, the folder that they're in, and the description. You save it, and you instantly have a dashboard right there with all the reports that you find to be most beneficial to your managers, the ones that they need, instead of just having to go through, and when you're in the reports view, going one by one like we were before, and looking at tickets by contact, by mode. You can just have them all in one place. So one more thing, I think. So the knowledge base, right? A knowledge base is only as useful as it is. People need to be reading your articles for them to be useful. They can't, like for example, so if I was to write an article here, hit the plus button, we have a little editor here, and I can add the title, and I can add all this copy, and it could be very good, but if no one's reading it, then we know, well, that's not useful. People aren't really reaching out to us for that. So if I added an article on, if you want to have us design your website, here's the code that we'll be working with. Can you work with that? Here's a little bit of an intro in case you want to edit it yourself. If I wrote that article and then added it, I need to know whether anyone's actually reading it. So when you go to the knowledge base view, you can see just views, just standard views on these articles. So you can see this one's much more popular than this one. And you can also see ratings. So you can say, well, maybe a lot of people are viewing this, but they want it to improve. Right now we have 8 viewers and 1 person liked it. That's actually a good split, that people are interacting with it at all. So you can add them in here, view them. There are also reports based on them. So you have a bunch of different ways to look at how they're going. So that's how I would do things as a customer interacting with desk, as an agent interacting with desk, or a manager. And so these are the things, if you walk away from this with anything, I don't want you to walk away with, I want you to walk away with the ideas that less friction is always better in not only your sales, but your customer support as well. Minimize the amount of times you have to contact someone to solve their problems. Desk helps you do that by assigning specific people to specific tickets, which is something that's useful to show you. Actually, I will do that. So, for example, my credit card was charged twice. Can you help? So this person has a finance issue that they're dealing with. If you're a company that moves enough volume, you probably have different people that support finance. You might have someone that does specifically design, like web design issues. And if you're doing merchandising on top of that, you probably have someone that's just doing packaging, shipping, stuff like that. So these people can wear multiple hats, or you can assign them specifically based on the ticket information. So, for example, as a manager, I'm probably going in here, and I'm searching through my agents, and I'm assigning specific tickets to specific agents. So I don't want my finance guy handling my merchandising problems. And you can go in here in the settings, and I won't go into it because it's kind of, I'll show you a little bit. So direct assignment, there are no direct assignment rules. I can build one of these, and now this says whenever a ticket is created or updated with a specific word, I can assign this directly to a person. Or I can just do round robin, which, as tickets come in, they're automatically assigned. So you don't have tickets coming in that aren't assigned to people. That'd be a problem. That's how they fall by the wayside. So I can just build a rule that says whenever a ticket comes in, assign it one by one, and then just start over through my support agents. So, again, self-service. As a big fan of self-service, someone that has to do it quite a bit in design, I really like it when companies prioritize that sort of thing. It means a lot to me, because I don't like having to reach out to solve my problems. Minimize that friction. Just let me handle it myself. And the industry bears out this fact that it is not only popular, but it's growing in popularity. Knowing your customer, when I come to you, you should know who I am. A desk lets you do this by giving you a history of my interactions with your company. Ideally, I don't have to tell you my name every time I call you over and over. With Desk, we do have a telephony integration. So whenever someone calls in, it'll pop up. It'll have a little notification in the bottom right corner that says they're calling, and you can answer it right there. You don't have to have a separate phone system. You can integrate it right into Desk. And when they're calling in, the caller ID will give you all the information of all the tickets they've given you in Desk, as well as pulling information from CRM if you've integrated that. The right tools to improve, so reports, that's a big part of this, right? Like, if you have a support process that's not going well, you should be able to figure out why and address those issues. You just have to know what reports are right for your business. And all that equals better support in general.